Hello and welcome to my first Doing It Live development blog for Dr. Farmer. This is a farming sim tower defense, which is not two genres you would generally see put together, but it's part a love letter to games like Stardew Valley and Harvest Moon, and also a note of frustration that I have with a lot of these farming sim games, namely with inventory and when they choose to have combat, what that combat is like. But this is mostly about just progress reports, updates, what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So it's about maybe a month in production. Something I'm doing just kind of on the side of my part time. And I'll just show you what we have going on here. So this is all being done in Unreal Engine 5, scripting with blueprints. My intention is to get a minimal viable product out as quickly as possible using blueprints. Once I have something that I think is a good core loop and it feels good and plays well, refactor in C++ and then continue developing and polishing from there. So this game so far, it works with both mouse and keyboard and gamepad, but we're going to mostly focus on gamepad development, strictly because it is harder to do. So what we have now is all of this is of course gamepad quit working. Unreal 5 default assets. So you have your default, I think they call them Manny here. I forgot what they called the female model, but so this is Dr. Farmer, third person, 3D, already a major deviation from what you generally see in something like Stardew Valley. And what we have here is our soil. Now, in the top left-hand corner of the screen, you'll see that we have this time of day, and it's progressing rather quickly. You'll also notice that my shadows are moving, the daylight is changing. So we have a daylight system here that correlates one-to-one with the time of day. Night will come shortly, and we have some day-night mechanics to be playing with later. So in the top right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see that we have your in-hand inventory. Just think of it as some debug text here. So we don't have various tool types. We got different kinds of seeds, and we got different kinds of plants. These blue squares you see here are soil. So as you can see, I can walk up to it and I can interact with the soil with a tool in hand, and I've tilled the soil. If I try to do anything else on untilled soil, nothing happens. So I'm going to continue tilling the soil, and you can see that it's getting later and darker. As you see, as I till soil, your stamina drops about what you would expect. And now we got food, our seeds. And we have 4 kinds of seeds. We have numb root, shit root, sleep leaf, and food. So basically, the loop of the game is you manage your farm, you till the soil, you plant your seeds, you grow your crops, and you have people you can talk to. So we're going to talk to these individuals over here. Dr. Farmer, I'm very sick, I need antiseptic. It's terrible. This person needs sleep tonic. This person needs muscle relaxer. You can make these medicines. As you can see in the inventory on the left side of the screen there, you have the 6 kinds of medicines you can make. Now, I have some of the medicine in my inventory now, but we're going to pretend that I don't. We're also not going to worry about this individual yet. That is a warrior. We'll get to that later. So we're going to just kind of, let's plant some numb root. So you can see here that my soil has changed because I've planted numb root. We're going to plant some shit root. And we're going to plant some sleep leaf. Cool. It's radioactive. Don't worry about it. And you can see, it's become night. We got stars out now. Very nice. And we're going to just come in here and we're just going to go to sleep. Now you notice you see a message, the warriors fought off the monsters in the night. What's that about? Well, that is the tower defense portion of the game. At night, You can see two monsters over here have spawned. During the day, they cannot move. They're immobile. They're like gargoyles almost. They're invulnerable. They can't move, but they are present. At night, they become active and aggressive, and they will attack your warriors and your crops, destroying your crops. So you can see here we have a couple of we have some crops that are starting to grow. Again, this is all just the Unreal default assets, so I don't have plants. I just have shapes, which is fine, really. We don't have a watering mechanic in yet. Matter of fact, I think what we're about to see is some of these crops get destroyed. That's fine. We'll go ahead and just go back to bed. Yep, 2 monsters remain. 2 plants were destroyed in the night. And you can see now we have more monsters. And a cat coming into my room. That's fine. We had some seeds that were dropped. This is kind of a way to help, like, keep the player from being just fucked. If your crops are destroyed and you lose those seeds, you can end up in a positive feedback loop where suddenly you're out of crops, you're out of seeds, and it sucks, and you can't recover from that. So you really want to avoid that. So when seeds are destroyed, when plants are destroyed, they leave behind seeds. So you always have a method in which to recover. Speaking of recovering, when you go to bed, you of course recover all your stamina. So we're going to go to bed again. Yep, I may not be able to grow anything because I haven't got rid of all these monsters yet. But we're going to pick up all those and tool. Is that ready for harvest? Yeah, it's ready for harvest. Cool. So we've harvested some numb root and shit root. That's fine. You can see now that, well, I have a bunch of seeds. I've got a bunch of plants now. All the plants that were destroyed or harvested have been turned back into regular soil. So this table right here is my crafting station. And you can see here that we are using the gamepad with the menu. You can use a mouse, of course. I'm focusing on gamepad development because it's harder. And, you know, players need options. Some people prefer to use a gamepad. Some people prefer mouse and keyboard. Whatever. Have both. It's just a little bit more development. It's fine. So we're going to combine some shit root. Numb root. And something else. So now you get a preview of what you can make. I think antiseptic was something that was needed. So we're going to cook that. And we have made some antiseptic. Let's make some sleep tonic. It's probably going to be a sleep leaf and sleep leaf. Who would have expected? Muscle relaxer, I think that's numb root and sleep leaf. Cool. So we've made these medicines now. And I don't remember what people needed. So we'll talk to this guy. I need antiseptic. Going to equip the antiseptic, talk to him. Thank you, Dr. Farmer. Now I can get back to staring idly into the void. And that is all he does. Need a sleep tonic, so we will make some sleep tonic. And this person needs muscle relaxer, so we'll give him some muscle relaxer. Cool. Now these 3 guys are fine now. Monsters will come. So usually, or my intent is for very soon, for these guys to start actually moving around and walking around and very slowly towards the plants. And this is actually where the tower defense portion comes in. Because you'll talk to this person over here, and you have a menu pop up, and they'll be like, oh, would you like to hire warriors? Blah, 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 blah. So, you hire warriors from this person, and then you'll take these warriors, you'll take flags, and kind of plant them around all of these exit points here. These diagonal lines are going to be spawn points, but that is. But you plant flags where you think your warrior should be to fight, and they'll fight at night. Now, if you go to bed while they're still fighting, they'll run a simulation, they'll fight. Broadly speaking, it's going to be 1 warrior for 1 monster, just for now. Later on, we'll get a little bit more complicated with it, but for now, you hire a monster, or you hire a monster. No, you hire a warrior, you kill a monster. Every one surviving monster destroys one plant. So that's how that works. So you plant seeds to grow crops. Crops are used to make medicine and food. Medicine heals townspeople, and they will give you a reputation, or it heals warriors who've been injured in the fight, and they will level up and grow stronger. A little different from most tower defenses. Most tower defenses let you edit your towers and adjust your towers, heal them, upgrade them, place more in the midst of a raid. We're not doing that. We're putting this, just going all in on this preparation loop, where because you can see on the field what monsters are spawning, you can see on the field where they are at and how many there are. You can prepare for that way better than you can in most tower defense games. So we are going to give you the option to hire a warrior and place them where you think they'll be best needed. And every surviving warrior will get stronger with every fight. So a little bit more on the tactics side of things, a little bit more on the preparation side of things. Excuse me, I just got over being sick, so my voice is all gargly and nasty. So how are we doing things? Like I said, everything's been handled in Blueprint. So our player character is inheriting from a BP character base. Why am I doing that? So BP character base has no additional logic in it. It's just a character base or a character parent class. I'm sorry, Dahlia, dear, my cat, everybody. She's very needy. Anyway, inherits from a character class. It's got the character model. It's got the mesh controller, all that, but no additional logic. All the additional logic I'm shoving into the player character itself or the player controller. In this way, whenever an external actor needs a reference to the player, say like I have a trigger box or something like that, instead of casting to this actor that has all this extra logic in it, instead of loading all that data, I'm just loading a mostly empty, or at least I should say a much smaller asset. And it has all the functions, of course, so Unreal's a little funny about how it handles references and what it loads. It's just a little bit more efficient. This way I'm not carrying around like have all these files that have references to the player. It's almost like copying the player over and over and over again. So it's not very efficient. So the player character is currently handling its own inventory, which is fine-ish. I think I want to shove that into the player controller, though. I don't know. I might make even another actor to handle inventory, just an external object, or maybe even a component that's just an inventory component. Just, again, to keep things as separated as possible. But for now, inventory is just an enum. It's just a map of... Here we go. Yeah, just a map of enum of plants to an integer. And that's inventory. So there's very light, no object references or anything like that. Sorry, my cats are not getting along at the moment. Soil. So soil's interesting. I only have a soil base, but basically the soil base just says, okay, cool, hi, I exist, you have interacted with me. Where did my interaction go? There you go. Oh yeah, interact is a interface here. It just says, okay, cool, what is in your hand, player who has interacted with me? Depending on what's in your hand, depends on what we go through and do. What is my condition? I'm either untilled, tilled, or planted. Oh yeah, so for instance here, if the player has a tool in hand, And they're interacting with the soil, and the soil says, "Oh, hi, my condition is planted." I'm like, "Well, cool. Are you ready for harvest?" And again, everything's enum driven because enum is just index. At the end of the day, it's just an integer or a byte, and it just progresses my plants, and my plants are driven by these data assets that I will find. There we go, plant data. And these are my plants. And every plant just has its name, which again is another enum. Reason for that has to do with some of the venues I'm making. And it has, a stage 2 mesh, a stage 3 mesh, and a maturity mesh. So this plant here, on day 2, it skips straight to stage 3. There is no stage 2 for this. On stage 3, it's fully mature. It has its soil material, so you'll know what the soil looks like when this plant is planted. And this is for... So I have 2 systems for making medicine. A simple and a complex. So right now we're doing a simple. And the simple is just this plant can make these medicines. But making a new plant is just as simple as making a new data asset for that plant. And so if I want to make a new plant right now, I'll just duplicate, and we'll just call this catnip. Why not? Drag this over here. Cool. So I'd have to actually come through here and find that enum. So we're going to do that real quick. So enum planet types. There we go. And that is just as simple as adding a new enumerator. We just say, boom. Now we have a new plant. There it is. And, whatever. So we'll just get a wedge. Why not? So its mature mesh is this control rig wedge. Here we go. Stage 2 mesh is the 1mm. Stage 3 is the 3mm. So it gets thicker and more full. Time to stage 2, 2 days. Time to stage 3, 3 days. Time to mature. So it's a slow movement. It takes 4 days for this plant to mature. And it's going to yield a bunch, like 10, whatever. In that case, you know what? We'll just say it takes 7 days to mature. Oh my god, it takes so long to mature. And because of the way monsters interact with plants, this actually makes it a higher risk plant. Because monsters are, they're non-biased when it comes to what plants they attack. They're just going to attack the nearest plant. So if you have a plant that sure, yes, has high yield, but it takes 7 days to mature, that means your player's going to feel a little bit more stress with this plant being in play. And your player's going to be a little bit more worried about this plant being destroyed, because if he gets 6 days into this plant and then the monster gets through, they just lost a week. Had a pet cat. So, but it's high reward, 10 yield. This isn't good balance, but the idea is here. So that's just a metric in which you can play with cost benefit, risk reward with your plants here, and it's all data driven. Your townsfolk done the exact same way. They are all data driven, as you can see here. Like, has chatted. What kind of medicine do they need? We're going to, it's just me doing this. I'm going to create a data asset that will drive conversations that kind of make characters out of the townsfolk as we go along. But right now, basically, interact with them. You, the player, treat the sick, which means, do you have the medicine they need? Right, it's gonna be in BB player, whatever. Oh my god, I lost my townfolk. There we go. And we're just going to get your items in hand. probably don't even need to get in hand. I could probably just get that, if I had to guess. Anyway, remove that medicine, and then they speak. What medicine do they need? Is the medicine needed? Fantastic. So again, data driven, just all enums. Menus are handled through Common UI. And which is how I'm able to manage the gamepad input. And it's all just very simple and straightforward. The cauldron menu is cauldron is a table, whatever. This is my crafting menu, and it just has the cook button, the exit button, which does exactly what you expect, and it's got these little preview texts here. And when this pops up, it just says, where is my event graph? Event construct updates UI, and all this is doing is just saying, okay, what is in the player's inventory? What plants do they have? How many do they have? And we're going to create a button widget for each of these. We have to pass in, Common UI is a little weird, frankly, but I had to pass in that this activatable widget is the parent to the buttons. And we create these buttons, we shove it into what I'm calling the plant box. It's just a vertical box. And that's how you end up with that list of buttons that show also how many of each item you have. So how does that work? Well, you have the CB plant button, which inherits from a CB button base. Cool. Not a whole lot to look at here because there's nothing filled out. But when any button base is clicked, it does button action, and this is for override only. So if I go to the plant button, you can see that I have event graph, and on button action, it does the thing. So this way I can have a lot of different buttons, and they could all inherit the same base behavior. And if I need every button to do, like, I don't know, on click, they all do all this unique behavior. I don't know, just whatever. But their individual actions are different. I can handle that. So that just kind of makes expanding my capabilities with buttons a little bit more robust, a little bit easier to manage. What else? Oh yeah, time of day. So I'm not actually a huge fan of how I'm handling time of day. I have created an object called a time cycler. It is hidden in game. And it does a lot, as you can see. But God, how do I explain it? Okay, so first thing it does is it finds my two different spheres. I have a sunlight and a nightlight. Finds those, saves the reference, and starts the timer. And then it counts days. From there, it just rotates. I guess that's what it boils down to. It just rotates the sky domes over a custom tick, and that custom tick correlates to, or it also drives our timer. And basically, when you hit a certain time of day, you just swap materials for your sky dome, and that's the long and short of it. Excuse me. And that's the short version of what we have going on here. We have this monster spawner, which is still very much in development. I would love to edit this in Blueprint, please. There we go. And all it does is just say, hey, is this spawner enabled? If it is, just find where I am, find my forward vector, and just pop out a minion vaguely in front of me. And that's literally all the monster spawner does. The monsters themselves are going to have AI much, 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 much later. It's going to be very, very simple AI. I might not even use Blackboard for it, because it's going to be so simple. The AI are basically just going to know where all the soil is, and it's going to walk towards the soil, or planted soil. And if a warrior gets in range, then the AI is going to be like, oh, I don't care about the soil, I'm just going to fight the warrior. And very simple back and forth. Warrior kills most time the monster. And if there's no warriors within range, they head right back towards the soil. My cat's angry that I'm talking. She's You want to come say hi? Anyway, that's down the road. For now, my priority is to get these minis back working and to be able to spawn my warriors. So I have this warrior here who... Why didn't it push that UI? Cool, let's do a little bit of trouble. Okay. Unreal's been on too long, so I guess we're done now. Anyway, it's November 29th, and that is where Dr. Farmer currently is.